Recently, one of our long-standing and very well-respected gardeners on there, Keith, has gone through a spate of ill health. As a result, he hasn't been able to get down to his plot, which has started to get a bit overgrown. So a few of us on there got our heads together and decided we was going to sort it. So a big thanks to Andy, Julia, Dave and Alan for mucking in and turning it round for him. And this is how it all ended up. All in all, it took about just over 3 hours with 4 good volunteers, and we did it with the great help of one of these weed whackers because the grass was quite high. And what we've done in the end, we've collected all the grass together, put it underneath that black sheet in there and added horse manure, mixed it up so that will rot down nicely and eventually form some lovely compost. This moment in time, I'd like to thank everybody who mucked in, including Marina, who provided lovely refreshments and even better cake. Well, at last I'm about to start planting out. I'm not sure if I mentioned previously that when I did the planting plan, the scheme, I completely forgot to include the peas. So I've got about 5 gutters of peas. Just having a quick look around, I might be able to squeeze at least a couple of rows at the back of the parsnips, but where the rest's going to go I don't know at the moment, but let's crack on. This is bed 1A. And originally this was destined to be parsnips at the back end and Swede at this end. But I think I'll be able to, say, get a couple of rows of peas in there, slightly move the parsnips forward. These are the Hearst Green Shaft variety. I've got the Calved Wonder a couple of hours, but the germination was a bit sporadic, so I thought if I use these, which are fairly thick, if I don't manage to get the others in, I haven't lost a lot. That's both rows in there. We just add a bit of netting right in the middle as a bit of support for them to clamber up, and water them in. That's it. I still think there's plenty of room over here for the parsnips, and by the time they're underway the peas should be out. And in the front there I'll be sowing direct this time, Swede, because the original ones in the cell trays got completely wiped out with the sun. I'll just share with you this little planting out guide that I've made. It's based on the planting out ruler, which is readily available. I made this out of UPVC internal windowsill, and the spacings on there at the moment are 6, 12, 8 and 4, although you can add others later on if I need to. Because all my beds are the same width, it just drops in, and then I can mark through with a dibber to give me the required spacing. I do find it best if you dampen the soil first before you put the board down. It helps retain the shape of the hole. I've decided to carry on and plant out this bed completely, so the next thing will be the parsnips. First of all, I've got to prepare some soil, sift it so there's no lumps in it. This is the Clover multi-purpose compost, the ones we had the issue with. This is a new bag, so we'll see what we get out of it. That's what we got left, and compared to the start of the season, that's a massive improvement, so I'm happy with that. You can see it's beautiful stuff. I was about to open another bag of clover, but noticed in the greenhouse I've still got a few dregs of F2 plus S, and since all the seed sowing is done now, rather than let this go to waste, I'm going to mix it in with it. I've lightly dampened the soil surface before I put the marker board down, and I'll be positioning 8 in a row with 3 rows. This is just a normal hand dibber with markers on 9 and 12 inches. And then by going in a circular motion, you can then form the cone, and that's where also the watering of the soil does help to retain the shape. For the regular YouTube garden viewers, you might recognise this contraption. I'll call it the Witch's Hat, or something like the Wizard of Oz. It's kindly made for me by Nick from Nick's Allotment. He's just actually used one on his video. If you haven't been across to his channel, have a look. Put the link underneath. And it's a fantastic thing. All I do is load it full of compost. This is the sieve stuff we've just done. It's a little shake and it guides it perfectly into the hole. The next stage in the process is to fit these collars. These are just downpipe from a wastewater system of ours. They're about 3 inches long, 75 millimeters, and all I do is push them into the freshly compost. And these purely act as a protection for the seedlings as I'm coming up. When you've got the hoe around it stops them from getting caught, and also it has a bit of wind protection as well while the seedlings are still small. And the final thing before we actually sow the seeds is to give these a good watering. I know now the soil is damp, so when the seed makes contact, gives it the best start. Now for the exciting part, sowing the parsnips. One thing is important, make sure you've got really fresh seed, make sure it's not out of date, because parsnips are one of the most temperamental seeds to germinate, and that's why I put about 6 seeds in each planting hole to make sure I'll get at least one. So there's 6 to 8 seeds in the planting hole, and I'll top them off with the same mix, but I had a bit of vermiculite and all. It does just show where the seeds are even when the coals are removed. The parsnips are safely in now, and I've decided I'm right on the very edge of this bed, I'm going to put another cheeky little row of screen shaft peas. Then in the remaining gap there is going to be sown the Swede, probably 3 rows. I did do a sowing of Swede earlier on in the season in cell trays, which germinated well, but the sun put paid to that by scorching the lot, so I'm going to go directly into the ground. I couldn't get my usual variety, which is Tweed F1, so I've ended up with these. These are called Brora or Brora, and I've just created a little drill in the ground. But I'll line that there with multi-purpose compost, and I'll sow directly onto that after giving it a little water. To finish the row off, I'm covering with same potting compost with the vermiculite added, and this will also act as a good row marker. With the Swede sown, I still managed to find a bit of room to get a little cheeky row of peas in the end. Again, these are screen shaft. Quick little update on the salad bed. Amazing, this drop of rain and a bit of warmth has made things fly up. Unfortunately the weeds are doing the same, but I'm happy with the way the crops are going at the moment. And so the radish, the rocket and the various lettuces are doing quite good. The spring onions have thickened up well, and there's plenty of growth on the beetroot. We end this one on a sad note. Unfortunately, Keith, whose plot was cleared at the beginning, he didn't make it, and he sadly passed away with his family around him. He'll be greatly missed on this site, not only as a friend but also as a good gardener, one who he could always go for advice or just a general chat. And what's more, he loved his chrysanthemums, both growing and showing. So I dedicate this one to Keith.